who's watching this. This was going to be my last one of these condition videos, but I'm hoping that there may be some more action into the first week of April. We haven't got much happening this week, which I'll explain to you shortly, but going into the weekend, there's signs of temperatures cooling down with a lot of precipitation, and then significant cooling into the start of April as well. So what we've got at the moment is a bit of a chillier northeasterly flow with some storms, like some storm systems, with some localized storm systems, thunder towards England as these two air masses are clashing. The cooler air from the northeast, the slightly warmer air from the southwest, and the low pressure to the southeast as well. And the southwest is going to dominate over this week. It's going to bring a westerly, southwesterly flow, some precipitation at times, but also some times really nice sunny conditions. It's the time to go summer climbing before the mid-season tourists, so get out when you can. It's probably going to be more towards the start of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, before a westerly flow starts to dominate with lots in the way of precipitation, stronger winds, and that's a trend towards the weekend as well, with potentially a tint of some cooler air towards Saturday into Friday night. There is lots of discrepancies about where these low pressures are going to move and what they're going to do, but a lot of the runs are lining them up to be good enough for early season mixed conditions to come back in towards the weekend as it stands. Massive caveat that this is as it stands, but it's also as it has stood for the last couple of days. So I am optimistic right now, but this is nearly a week away, so do bear that in mind. And the high pressure to the southwest of us has only been gaining confidence, building in size over the last few days as well, and it won't take much for that to build over Spain, France a bit more, and just give us straight westerlies with the jet stream to our north. It is slightly further north now than it was a couple of days ago, but it's not too far north that it will bring us really warm and wet air. It's just diving a little bit to the south to allow a bit of a more of a northwesterly flow into the weekend. So I'm going to show you a lot of resources that I've been using to come to my current conclusion, and it all could change very, very quickly. One run could change it all, but as it stands, this looks like it should be cool enough with precipitation to bring some mixed conditions back in towards the weekend. And then there is signs for the cooler air to stick around for a week or so as high pressure builds and dominates, initially from a northerly flow and then from a northeasterly flow. So if that does occur, it could be that the early season mixed conditions hang around for a couple of days as well into the first week of April. Obviously, there will be inversion temperatures with intense gradients as we have a lot of daylight now as well. So it'll be really warm during the days, and anything in the sun will immediately melt away. But potential is there for a couple of days where we could get a couple more routes in. So the ECMWF model here gets really through Friday night that temperatures are cooling down. Here we go. So Friday, this northwesterly flow comes in. This is the temperature 850 HPA, so 1,500 meters just above the summit of Ben Nevis. You see the -5 isotherm creeping in here. Some really cool air sitting over Greenland that we are tapping into the start of April. But we've got a flow with a northwesterly flow with some moisture in the air as well. So hopefully this should cool the rocks down. Bear in mind they are incredibly warm and they will be saturated by some of these storms moving through on Thursday, Friday. Lots of rain. This will be rain as well. So it will take quite a bit to cool them down. But you can see the encroachment of the cooler airs. This run only goes to Saturday, but the 0 degree isotherm is all the way down here, sitting just atop of Spain, with a -5 creeping in as well, -10 not far away either. So that'll probably be about -3, -4 on the Ben. So the GEM run here, again, I'm going to skip through the warmer temperatures in the middle of the week through to Friday. You can see the -5 is sitting completely over us through Friday night, -6, sorry. And that's only going further to complete bottom of the country, so that'll probably be about -6 on the Ben for the middle of Saturday, sticking around for a couple of days as well before our easterly flow comes back in on this high pressure. Bear in mind inversion conditions that will be occurring from the high pressure. That's why it's significantly above freezing higher up in the atmosphere. If I put on the temperature deviations and run it forward again, you can see we're just in this slightly cooler air from the northeast. really quickly getting moved out by these warm southwesterlies, and then the northwesterlies flowing in and out. There's a slight front coming through here through Friday morning, but there's the cooler air coming in, so that is deviations of about -4, -5, -6 on the 30-year average. So hopefully that would be enough to bring something in the way of early season conditions. So the most important thing is freezing level, and again, slightly optimistic with this as well. If I skip forward through to Friday, you see the freezing level is sitting at about 1,000 meters Friday morning, 800 meters there. And obviously there'll be large increases during the day. You can see the really warm air of high pressure sitting to the southwest of us, and that's what I mean like by it won't take much for this to come over and ruin all plans that we have for the weekend. But you can see it's going down to 5, 6, 700 meter freezing level through Friday night into Saturday morning, and that's enough for the highest cracks to start freezing hopefully. So there's a 600 there for Sunday, and it only cools down from here as well. 400, and there's a 200 one there as well just for Monday, but I'll go into the start of next week just after I've fully gone through this weekend. And again, another one just showing the temperatures at 1,500 meters, so cooling down significantly through Friday daytime, -4 there, and through Friday night as well into Saturday morning. And through Saturday night, especially into Sunday morning, we can see this cooler air. So there's -7, -8 degrees here, just above the summit of the bend, creeping in on this northerly flow that has potential to take hold of us. Now, in the way of precipitation, there is precipitation around this weekend, quite a lot of it as well. So here's the 12-hour average, specifically on the west coast. There's going to be a lot more of it. So Thursday into Friday, and during the colder temperatures as well, Saturday, there's still precipitation around, and you have the effect of precipitation lowers the temperature locally as well. So anything that falls as snow down to 800 meters in this could then lower the temperature and fall snow down to 600 meters. That's me being extremely optimistic. Now, the snowfall accumulation is always one that is significantly optimistic, and you can see there's no different for this weekend, showing a couple of centimeters falling over the Scottish Highlands and into the weekend as well. It will be mostly towards the west coast, northwest as well. Keep a good eye on everything that's happening through this week, and if you're trying to get out this weekend, give it a good revisit, because early season mixed conditions, the further north, the further west you go, the better they could be, and that's all I'll say on that one. And the ensembles are showing this significant dipping of the temperature here. So here is the T850 as well for Moray, and you can see the 0 degree bar is here. Nearly all of the runs sitting below that, with the operational going significantly below that into the start of April on this cooler northeasterly wind. This is the trough that will be associated with any sort of precipitation this weekend. If I just whack that one on as well, you see the precipitation will be associated with that. So we can hope and pray that this falls as snow and rhymes the rocks. But like I say, there's so many ifs and buts with this, so many caveats that you do need to bear in mind. This isn't me saying you can definitely go winter climb this weekend. This is me saying I'm optimistic as it stands, but there's lots of things that could change. The location of the low pressures, the location of the high pressure, the amount of precipitation as well. But come Wednesday, Thursday, you'll know a lot more for certain what is happening with all of these systems. Now, into the first week of April, this high pressure is going to dominate, so it's going to be extremely nice weather. Dominating high pressures are a lot easier to forecast than sporadic low pressures, and potential for cooler temperatures to persist is also there, but there would be little in the way of precipitation. In terms of what that means for winter climbing, if we get anything conditions-wise during the weekend, it could last a couple of days to the middle of the week before the air dries out and the temperatures rise in the inversion conditions with strong UV would then melt that all the way. So finally, here is a really nice graph that I'm hoping pulls off. You can see the straight northerly winds. This is Saturday evening into Sunday. Straight northerly winds with the high pressure sitting just to the southwest of us to keep backing that as well, bringing straight cold precipitation, and then you can see it dominating there. Just as for the extended range forecast, you can see the high pressure blocking is really strong for the first week of April, and this could mean all sorts of things. If it sits slightly further to the south of us, it could bring warm, really nice summer climbing spring conditions. If it sits slightly further to the northeast, it could keep us cool, inversion conditions, cloud inversions, lovely hill walking conditions, and anything that we get during the weekend on this positive NEO with the westerlies, northwesterlies, could hang around for a couple of days as well. So we can be hopeful that that is what sets up. And finally, the weekly mean anomalies for pressure. We have the high pressure sitting to the southwest of us for this week, with the low moving in from the westerly flow, moving into the high pressure dominating us for the first week of April, and there's high signals for it then moving over to Scandinavia to keep us cool rather than moving over to England. And then we've got high pressure sitting basically to the north of us, again keeping us cool for the outlook into April. I'm not saying this is going to guarantee winter conditions, but it just means that there's less likelihood of lots of spring storms and wet weather. So even if there's not winter climbing, make the most of the potential dry spell that could be happening through the month of April. Again, nothing set in stone with this. This is just a general trend for this is over a month away. And inferring all of that off one chart isn't a particularly strong correlation, but it's just the signal is there. But otherwise, thank you very much for listening.